Hello and welcome to MonsterKid Fury. I'm Callie. Here with me is Rich of MonsterKid Central. Hi, Rich.
Howdy.
And Rick of Film Fury. Hi, Ricky.
You both stole my line.
Today we have another commentary for you guys. It's going to be X-Files. We're doing the home episode, which is season 4, episode 2. We're going to try and get to Buffy, but this one's like a 45-minute episode. All right, baby, when you're ready.
Oh, ready? 3, 2, and 1. Season 4, X-Files is like at its peak of its popularity at this point. So you have all the diehard fans have been watching by this time, and of course we have new kind of normies who have entered the fray watching the show.
If there was ever a WTF start, this be it.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, there was the episode where I think Scully and Mulder are both in bed at the beginning of it. Yeah, that was a little WTF, but nothing like this.
I remember hearing about this episode, but I hadn't actually watched it. So my first viewing of this was yesterday.
Oh, good for you.
Right. Brand spanking new to it. So
How'd you shake that off?
I haven't.
Oh, okay.
It's still...
Yeah, this one did not work for her as well as I thought it would have.
Little too Texas Chainsaw-ish.
I don't think that's what it was for me. But going into this, like, I paid attention to the entirety of it, and Ricky actually spoiled a portion of it for me because he walked in while I was watching it, and then he mentioned something, and I was like, "What? That hasn't happened yet." He's like, "Oh crap!"
Jeez,
I thought she was further into it.
I'll tell you, you try and raise them right, and look what happens.
One of the greatest things about this episode is the directing. Kim Manners did this episode, who was one of the most prolific directors for the series.
Yeah, he's absolutely brilliant. The amazing thing with X-Files was always that they could insert some humor into the darkest episodes, including the fact that this one has a Mayberry RFD kind of feel to it. I won't give anything away yet.
Okay.
But for the writer to sit there and think, you know what, I should put that in, it's bizarre to me, but it's great.
It's kind of sad because Niobe's generation, being, what is she, Gen Z officially? They hear the X-Files music and they laugh at it, unfortunately,
Right.
because they've grown up with it being used in memes.
Right.
But I'm telling you, man, it was the greatest feeling. I mean, just such a great feeling on a Friday night, and you're at this point of the credits and you're just hyped.
Yeah, I have never fast forwarded through the theme for X-Files.
Oh no, yeah. If they had the skip
Never.
intro option, that would not be happening. No.
My usual response is skip this.
And Mark Snow, the composer, it's very interesting. He didn't really go on to a whole lot. He did a lot of TV work. He did the TV series version of La Femme Nikita. He scored Disturbing Behavior, which was directed by David Nutter, an X-Files alumni. I love that.
Yep.
Home, right over home base.
Yeah.
In Home, Pennsylvania. Well, you mentioned the writers. This was Glenn Morgan and James Wong, who I still consider like the ace up Chris Carter's sleeve that he never admitted to, because these guys, they knew how to write, in my opinion. I always loved how they were able to take what Carter created, and they did like a Frank Darabont. They took it and they gave it so much more nuance and added so much character depth.
Yeah.
This was one of their... I love this. This was probably their 4th episode that they wrote, I think. I'd have to go back and check.
Yeah, it was. I think it was in the top 5.
Look at that shot. For a TV show, the shot of the kid there when he turned around, that looked just glorious.
Yeah.
It definitely gave me Sandlot vibes. Yeah. Just this entire setup.
Kim Manners, one of the recurrent directors of the show, he did so many episodes. He helmed this one.
Yeah, and man, is it good.
Oh, gross.
Oh, it's just Karo syrup.
The Sandlot goes to hell.
Yeah. I think this one just made me feel so damn dirty. Like, it's
Yeah,
just so gross. And
yeah,
not in a gory kind of way. It's because of the social moral aspects of this show, like, or this particular storyline, I should say.
I like how they add the
yeah,
baseball element to Mulder. I think is cool because you always see Mulder as sort of a geek, but here he is kind of touching his childhood again. Look
yeah.
at that house. Jeez.
Mhm.
Scully.
Mulder.
Now, this episode was actually banned. After it aired, the Fox network got so many phone calls and letters from probably the normies who tuned in and saw umbilical cords and incest and all these horrible things. And they complained so much that Fox did not re-air this. It did not re-air until it hit syndicated on the FX channel.
Wasn't that about 5 years
Yeah.
or so? I mean,
Isn't
Wow.
it was
that isn't that
crazy long.
wild to think that people got that up in arms about it? Now, of course, if I was Glenn Morgan and James Wong, I would wear that as a badge of
Oh,
pride.
hell yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, there's a name we should be familiar with, Mr. Vince Gilligan, who went on to do Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul.
Absolutely. Yeah, this show did a lot for a lot of people.
Yep.
I love this gentleman.
Okay, and here we go. I'm Sheriff Andy Taylor.
And only Morgan and Wong would write that dialogue. Nobody else would
Yeah,
write that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. Yeah, I can't imagine. It's just it's it's perfect.
By
And I
season
just
4, oh, go ahead.
no, I just think it's like wacky, but exactly the right kind of wacky.
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with this shit. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a rough
It
episode.
is. And again, watching it for the first time recently it was a lot of shock. There was a lot going
Yeah.
on.
Yep.
Yeah, if you noticed, a lot of the seasoned directors of the show became producers by the time season 4 rolled around.
Yep.
Oh.
Now, this actor playing the sheriff, Tucker Smallwood, I love this guy. He was actually from the Glenn Morgan and James Wong crew. He played one of the commanders on Space Above and Beyond, a show that Glenn Morgan and Wong had done.
Oh.
Wonderful sci-fi series that I'd say Battlestar Galactica ripped the fuck off of, and I mean the newer one,
Okay.
in terms
Right.
of it being like a dirty kind of World War II sort of movie feel to it. That was in space way before Battlestar Galactica, the reboot.
Yep. And I'm about as sure as I can be that he also did a Millennium.
Yes, yes, he did.
Nice.
So
Just a really great actor. Just
Yeah.
love his look. I love his cadence.
now, on the other hand, I do have to say, if my last name was Smallwood, I would have probably gone and changed it. Just putting it out there
You're awful.
because it technically could mean something else. So it's just no, I'm not doing that
And then I like
because
how the guys in the house, they're perched up on their porch. They remind me of
I
like,
know. Yeah, like hillbillies. They're just what's going on out
well,
there.
yeah, hillbillies, like
yeah,
animals of a sort, like curious cats or just something that's perched up on something, trying to get a better look at what's happening out there.
yeah, and they're basically watching the show.
Mhm.
I mean, they're looking at Sheriff Taylor and Mulder and Scully, and that's entertainment, man.
Now, what's
Aw,
interesting is I know I love this. What's
babies in the
interesting
fridge.
if we end up doing it today, we're also going to be doing a commentary for one of the best Buffy the Vampire Slayer episodes. But what really is interesting is both these seasons were roughly, a few years apart. I think Buffy was actually a couple years later. this is so well directed for its time. I mean, it has a cinematic feel to it, which of course is commonplace now with, you know, all streaming series and TV shows on networks for that matter.
Right. Yep.
But the camera composition is just excellent.
You know, this came along at exactly the right time, and I mean the X-Files in general,
Yeah.
because although the technology, uh, you know, has been outdated for decades now, it's still better that they had cell phones. It's still better that they had uh, uh, the types of things that they have instead of them having to run to a phone booth, because that's a step back that, you know, is tough to come back from.
I think that's what disappoints me though about you know, younger generations at this point not really being able to appreciate it, because I was hoping with the fact that there are still cell phones and things of that nature, technology they would recognize at least. I figured they would be more open to it. But right now, maybe in another 10 years, maybe it'll have a new life, if you will.
Yeah,
But right
I
now, I
would
think
say,
everyone who appreciates it are the people who watched it, you know, in its original run.
right.
Now we just got out of the bathroom scene where we saw the baby who's so maldeformed that there were several theories on how this child came to be. But again, you obviously find out that there's incestual stuff.
I was going to say, yeah, it was right out there. That's for sure.
Very gross. And I don't know, Mulder brings up a couple things. Yes, he talks to her. You find out a little bit more about his background, which is cool.
That's good writing.
It is.
When you can when you can hook up that kind of character development without having to stop and do the, you know, explain the whole thing,
Yeah,
it's much better.
when it's natural.
You right. You never get like Karen's back from the war in which we won, but blah 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 da da da. And it's like, I don't need that
No,
exposition. I really don't.
because this pertains to why they're there.
Yep.
Did you see that shot? That was amazing. Manners went and had the camera move. That was just gorgeous. I'm the director of the bunch, so yeah, I see that type of stuff, and I'm just like, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I think we can all appreciate good shots, but yeah, you're definitely the director of the bunch.
Tear coming to your eye. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not going there.
I already wiped it away. It's fine.
I want to go back to, I guess, the deputy, the sheriff's deputy that walked in.
Yep.
I could have swore that I've seen that dude in other TV series, and yeah, he apparently did a lot of work.
Yes.
It was in like Stargate, SG-1,
Yep.
Supernatural. There again, there was just a whole bunch that he was a part of.
And again, the perfect role for him. So I also love the fact that he, although he isn't the Andy Taylor or Sheriff Taylor, he really has it kind of perfectly. It's like, yeah, it's yours.
Oh yeah,
Ugh,
gross.
jeez.
Oh yeah, this was definitely a horror episode.
Oh yeah.
It
Thank
has
God.
it has such a great Toby Hooper Chainsaw Massacre vibe to it when they
Yep.
walk into the
Mhm.
house and everything.
Yes.
Yeah. This gives me the creeps in all the right ways.
It does.
On the other hand, it's about to go south.
Oh, gross.
With a quickness.
With a quickness.
Oh yeah. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's got the Chainsaw Massacre vibe to it. Oh man, oh man.
The least they could do is clean up after themselves.
Oh,
Good God.
I know.
man.
What do they expect mom to do it? I mean, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't she putting up with enough?
And I always love, man, Mulder and Scully, they always had their guns drawn. They weren't fucking around. They're like, no, we're not going to, just go in with our hands on our hip with the gun prepared. No, we're going in armed.
Yep.
That's because they're very situationally aware, which is what you're supposed to be, right?
Yep. Yeah, they should be able to handle just about anything.
And there it is, one of the signature type of shots of the series,
Yeah.
the flashlights in the dark that became its thing.
Yeah. Okay, if I wasn't already disturbed by everything else that I had seen previous, this probably freaked me the hell out like the worst.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yep. And what does it say, the fact that I just sit here smiling like an idiot during stuff like this? It's like, man, this is gorgeous.
Look at that. That is beautiful.
The beautiful,
Yeah.
it's disturbing is what it is.
It's beautifully disturbing.
I pictured people back in 97 in their living room, people who weren't ready for this, with the lights off going, the fuck is going on? Thank God there's a toilet paper commercial on to get my mind off the thing I just watched.
Yeah, and it's just one of those deals, like when you say, so some people weren't ready for it. No, nobody was ready for it. Even people who thought they were ready for it were not ready for it.
Yeah, and decades later, I wasn't ready for it. Jeez.
Nope.
My mom, who loved horror, even watched this one going, how the fuck did they get this on TV?
I completely understand. That's what I went through too.
And for anyone younger than like 25, that device Mulder is beating, the TV has what's called an antenna on top. That's how we got TV signals at one point in time.
Yes.
Wi-Fi wasn't a thing. Streaming was not a thing.
Yeah, this kind of needs to be explained like a Peabody and Sherman. It's just one of those deals where, well, what they're doing now is, man.
That's what we're here for.
Absolutely.
Now, what's really interesting about Glenn Morgan and James Wong and their relationship with the X-Files is them as writers and episodes they didn't even direct. They infused so much of their style. You could definitely tell when they wrote an episode. Kind of like some films, you can tell when you have a particular screenwriter. And one of the things Morgan and Wong did in their writing, and then ultimately on shows that they ran, like Millennium Season 2, which they took over from Chris Carter, they were able to do this bizarre thing where they would take a song, a piece of music, usually popular music, and it would be put into a scene that is so anti what the song is about. And they do it here with a Johnny Mathis song. And it just works so wonderful.
Yep.
And they did this on Millennium. They used Horse with No Name, if you remember, during a assassination sequence.
Yep.
They did it in the films they worked on. They worked on Final Destination, the original film.
Right.
I love him playing with the antenna, how he pointed at her for a second. It's cute.
This is the second time. See, the first time he mentioned him not picturing her as a mom when they were sitting on the bench.
Right.
And now this is the second time that he said that.
See, and that's so great because that becomes part of her character throughout the series.
Yep.
Yeah, lock your door. Lock your door. It's like my lock doesn't work. Yep.
You know when Agent Mulder decides to barricade the door, there's a problem.
Yeah, something's up.
I hate these guys. Yep.
Well,
Oh,
I
gross.
don't necessarily hate them. I just
Yeah, the first time I saw this, I was like, "What's such a bizarre needle drop?" And then by the end of the sequence, I'm like, "Oh, this is wonderful."
Yeah.
yeah, I love how many shots start off beneath Sheriff Taylor
Yeah.
and then work their way back up. It's like, wow.
It keeps you engaged. Very interesting camera work.
I don't know.
Robert,
Go
okay.
ahead.
No, go ahead, boss.
I'm just saying. I don't know how many people just went, yeah, I think I'm gonna line it up to where maybe she's in a little more danger than I'm at.
Now, Kim Manners is able to do on the X-Files what Robert Rodriguez referred to as hero shots, meaning you always give your characters, even characters that would be considered supporting characters, just really great framing,
Yeah.
Right,
composition, just to accentuate them, just to make them look as cool as they are. And
right.
that shot of Tucker Smallwood on the porch, he just looked great.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
Yep,
directors would have done just a standard dead on kind of angle camera shot, eye level.
yep. Man.
You can hear the music. Like, what?
I know. What kind of hooligans playing Johnny Mathis at this time of night?
Yeah.
right.
So creepy.
Everything about it.
Yeah.
I love how between this and Gremlins, Johnny Mathis songs take on a much darker feel.
They do.
Right. Exactly. yep.
Quick merge on the Mitchell episode of Mystery Science Theater when they say that the guy breaking into the house looks like Johnny Mathis.
Yeah.
And when he's going through the cabinets, it's so funny. It's like, chances are,
He doesn't even want to go for a gun.
because he's small town America. He's like, you come into my place, I'm gonna beat the living shit out of you.
Yeah, maybe, but
He's not thinking that he wants to kill
They're,
anybody. Yeah.
he also doesn't know it's a bunch of inbred, super
Superhuman
kind of
kind of.
human individuals.
Yeah.
country folk.
No, you can be country folk and not like this. Oh no.
Oh,
I know.
I know, and they go barbarian on him, man.
Yes, they do.
So this is what my lovely husband spoiled for me. That the sheriff,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
that the sheriff died. I was like, oh, you didn't tell. Why did you tell me that?
I have to say, as a writer, I think I would have probably let the wife live. I would have used that as a
No,
plot dynamic somehow,
no,
but
because it's so creepy how he does that. He's like smelling, sniffing.
yeah, I know.
I don't think I would have let anybody
Oh,
live, including Mulder and Scully. That would have been it.
So I guess once like-minded chromosomes go weird places, you get superhuman ability. Like, I can smell you.
apparently.
Of course, my wife's like that too. She can smell bad scents like downstairs. Are you guys cooking something? What? It was toast.
Yeah, because of the amount of times I had my nose broken, I can't smell. So I don't really have a sense of smell.
Oh,
So Eileen will say to me, "I need you to go outside, clean off your shoes."
ah,
I said, "Why?" She because you stepped in it. I'm like,
ah.
"No, I didn't. I don't smell anything."
This guy,
Duh.
Sebastian Spence.
Yep.
You know, it's funny when you shoot in Canada, it's real hit and miss on what type of season it's going to look like when you're shooting. And they were able to pull off. I feel this is
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not
Oh,
like
absolutely.
it's not like when I see an episode Norfolk, Virginia, and it's rainy as shit and everything. And I'm like,
Or buildings
that
that
doesn't.
are not our
Yeah,
aesthetic.
we don't have buildings that large in Norfolk, Virginia. You're way
Nope.
off.
So they did a great job on this one. I'll give them
Yeah,
that.
they really did.
Unlike Psych, when they shot the pilot in Santa Barbara, California, and then did everything else in Canada and wanted us to believe they were in California. So you get a lot of rainy days in California.
I still love Psych, though.
Oh, yeah.
Far too many gene imbalances. Yeah.
It's the kind way of saying inbred.
No, yeah. But inbred to such a horrific degree.
It's like that line in Multiplicity where he says, you know, it's like when you make a copy of a copy of a copy.
Oh.
You know what's wild is that Gillian Anderson was going to quit acting because she had been trying it for years and years, and she was literally planning to leave and go home. And she got the call for the X-Files. It's just like one of those wonderful bits of kismet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. Now, I've never heard any stories about anybody thinking that they were mismatched at the beginning of the series, but whoever thought that was so dead wrong.
Oh yeah.
They're playing, you know, mismatched, but they're certainly not.
No. The chemistry between them is excellent.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the studio, Fox, they really kind of fought Carter on the casting. They thought Mulder was ugly. They thought David Duchovny was ugly, not a leading man at all. They didn't like her.
Right.
They wanted Pamela Anderson to play Scully.
Well, that wouldn't have been a mistake at all, would it?
Pretty sure they would have been canceled season 1 at that point.
Yeah.
Now, the interesting thing, too, is that X-Files almost didn't get a season 2. And it was only because of one of the people working in the division that looked at ratings and whatnot. They came to the network and said, look, you don't want to cancel this show because we're not getting huge ratings, but the age range is huge. Yeah. You have people, 18 all the way into their 60s watching this. And that is a bracket very rarely does a science fiction or horror show achieve.
Correct.
Oh my God.
And they went ahead and gave it the season 2 and, just everything. I know.
This is so gross.
They're probably just changing clothes, right? That's all they're doing.
I didn't understand, and I still don't understand. I still don't understand.
I think it's because you don't want to understand.
And that's okay. It's okay to not want to understand.
It's like the lottery. You can't win it unless you're in it.
Oh, God.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
Ricky Patterson, you are not my favorite person right now.
I wonder if Alan McElroy, when he wrote Wrong Turn, if he was a fan of this episode. It was like, I'm going to do a whole movie like that, and they're going to be up in the hills of West Virginia.
Is that what that movie's about? Inbred hillbillies?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
But I respect the hell out of it because they didn't do Texas Chainsaw. They did it without. Wait a minute. Why is this ringing?
Uh-oh.
Sorry. Never mind. They didn't do a Texas Chainsaw sequel they did Texas Chainsaw from their point of view, and that's what we always hope for, because then they can say, well, don't necessarily think of Texas Chainsaw,
Yeah.
and you don't have that comeback, then then don't frickin' name it Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. McElroy also wrote a reboot of that, which came out a few years ago, and it's actually really good. It's the complete opposite of the original movie, which I kind of appreciated.
Yep.
Beautiful steady cam work, man.
I was excited for this
Look
because
at
I was
that.
like, all right, go in there, get these killers.
God, he's a big dude.
Yeah.
I know.
And then,
I know. I think
small
I'd have to
town
call
cop.
for backup. I'd call from the next city over. I need some
Yeah, I
deputies
would
out
too.
here.
I would
I
too.
know.
Jeez. I'd have Casey Kasem be doing the long distance dedication on that one. It's like, no, I'm not bringing anybody else into this.
Because he
Man,
does.
I'm going to go
He's
back
great.
to it again. You can watch movies on Netflix right now made over the last 2 years, and they're not as well directed. And when I just mean directed in terms of camera composition and framing, not nearly as good as this.
Yeah. The tension in it is crazy.
I know, for a TV show in 1997, absolutely.
Or, recently, as in like yesterday. I was on the
Yeah,
edge of my seat.
and I completely understand where you're coming from, Rick. But my first shout out is to the writing.
Oh, yeah.
The writing is just sensational.
Booby trap.
Booby trap. This pissed me off. He got fucking decapitated.
It's hammer time.
Oh,
Now, I
Jesus.
haven't read anything to indicate this, but that really looks like they probably shot a more gory angle on that, because
Yeah.
the cut is very much like a Friday the 13th movie where the
Very
ratings
odd.
board has cut the scene.
Yeah.
Right.
I keep thinking they did some shot of the head hitting the floor or something.
Yeah, I would say so.
Was that
That would
extra
be a safe
scene
bet.
or more gore? But it's upsetting. They took him out. These freaking, ingrates. They're smart
The whole
enough to go
town's
ahead
gonna,
and put booby traps in their house. Come on.
the whole
Yeah.
town's gonna go into chaos. The entire law enforcement division's dead.
Yeah,
All
I
two
know.
guys. Yep. Piggies.
This is where they make the Babe reference.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll work. You got to assume that those hands have seen a little bit of blood in their life.
A lot of blood.
Oh no.
A lot of blood. Yep.
Yeah.
Mama, the hogs are out.
Oh, geez, seeing
Yeah,
them
see,
in
that's the thing.
sunlight.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's the thing. My brother was a mechanic, so his hands always had grease on them, and he said, "I'll never be able to wash all this grease off." Well, I'm seeing this in this episode, but it's just not with grease.
right.
That's kind of staying there.
I mean, they left their kitchen the way they left it, so.
Yeah.
Not only did Wrong Turn seem inspired by the creature design here, the inbred design, but
Man.
Hills Have Eyes, the remake,
Oh yeah.
actually seemed to take a lot from this.
Yep. So here's my thinking on that. you've found the first booby trap. You think that's going to be it? I'd be like, yeah, you know what? This place is too booby trap for me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just set it on fire. Oh, wait.
That's what you
Right.
call.
That's right. Because they need to find the person or the woman who birthed the baby. So that's,
If
yeah.
I was Mulder and Scully, I would have been calling Skinner saying, "Hey, you need to pull some agents out from Philadelphia real quick. I need like 50 or 60 people and SWAT
Yeah.
tactical gear."
Yeah.
Okay. Now this is actually where I got freaked out.
Yeah, my mom actually.
Or not that.
No, my mom was like, "Oh."
Yeah, there's no comfortable shots in this movie.
No.
I mean, in this episode, which is great.
Oh, geez.
See, and Morgan and Wong are so great the way they do that. They give you a little chuckle with the Elvis headline, and it's like, all right, back into horror now.
Yep. A lovely family.
Mm-hmm.
Again, there's just no bright side.
That's what I'm saying. Apparently, the family have been sharing the oven for a while or something.
Yes.
Man. It's just like,
Yep.
Yeah. This disturbed the hell out of me.
yeah, the screaming. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's your reveal.
Oh, no.
Great line.
I know.
It's Mrs. Peacock.
Is.
Oh, God.
I know. Don't look at me, please. Can you not look at me? That'd be great.
Did she roll back under there?
I know, that is so disturbing. It's like, let me go back.
I have to laugh, otherwise I'm going to start crying. Oh, God. Like I said, it just feels so damn dirty. Oh, gross. Gross. Gross.
And thank God for the much needed commercial.
I know, I'm waiting to hear new Jiffy Pop. It's like, I'm thinking
Right,
Jiffy Pop.
This one absolutely would have been great around Mother's Day.
Right. Right. When did it air? Do you guys know?
I think it was a Halloween episode.
Oh.
Yeah, it had to be roughly around that time since it was the
'Cause
second
it's-
episode of the season.
Yeah, second episode, so it's going to be late September, could be October. Yeah.
Okay.
See, and I know it could be argued by diehard X-Files fans, or it probably has been argued. I feel the show worked best when it was Monster of the Week, to be honest. I was fine with the alien mythology, but the characters grew, I think, more here.
Oh, yeah.
I completely agree with that, and it's just one of those deals where sometimes they get mired in the in the black oil thing. It's
Yeah.
like
Booby trap.
Well,
yeah, because
because
think of the standout episodes. It's very rare that you get one of those mythology episodes is a standout.
Yes.
yeah, the Monster
I
of
mean,
the
it
Week, though, you
happens,
think
but
of Tombs,
oh my
you think of the
God.
Fluke Worm,
Yeah,
you think of
yeah.
all those.
Absolutely.
And now you think of this one.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, the standalone episodes essentially called back to the show that inspired Carter in the first place, which was Kolchak the Night Stalker.
Yep.
And I think if he had approached the show strictly from that viewpoint, one, I think it would be interesting to see what the X-Files would have turned into, because I think you would have had more of a connection with it being a horror show as opposed to a straight science fiction show.
I know
Correct.
it's very hard for me to look at her, but God, Karen Konoval, that's the actress. She did such an amazing job on this.
Ugh. Such good boys. I've been like, yeah, you know, you're such good boys did this, you know.
There, she brought it up.
Yep.
Motherhood. Yeah, Mother's Day, definitely. Ew. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Whoops.
They can smell us.
Oh, Scully.
Time to leave.
Oh. Yep, superhuman.
Well, to be honest with you, you're not expending any energy to like find dates or something like that. So, you know, I can see you being able to throw yourself into the gym.
That's so gross. Not mama.
Yeah. Damn.
Oh, jeez. It's death noise.
Killed by your own booby trap.
If you're killed by your own booby trap, then who's the boob, really?
Oh no, she's gone.
Dun, dun, dun.
And now for a nice leisurely stroll in the fields. Another great camera.
Right.
Yeah, you know you've arrived when you have a crane shot on your TV show.
Absolutely.
I mean, it is season 4.
They didn't do a lot of action figures for the X-Files. I really wish they had, because I would have loved to have like Mulder and Scully in their, bulletproof vest kind of thing.
Right.
Oh God, this is so gross.
Yeah, it truly only had to do with the movie.
And they bring back that, is it Bobby Darin or no?
Johnny Mathis.
Johnny Mathis.
Yeah, Johnny Mathis.
There you go.
This brings me back to the days of the drive-in theater. Two people in the car, 47 in the trunk.
I mean, with that trunk space, you can fit a whole mama with her pallet.
Exactly.
Her rolling pallet.
With her baking pan.
Oh, jeez.
I tell you, man, audience, oh God, man, people watching that must have been just wonderful. It go black at the end of the episode, and they're just like, the fuck was that? I'm never watching X-Files again. You said it was a good show. It's a great show.
Right.
I just watched something extremely perverted. I'm not watching the show anymore.
I don't know.
Yeah. Where's my happy ending? Yeah, it's not happening.
Manners directed 53 episodes out of the series.
Crap.
That is wild, man. That is.
And I think
It's the
I think there
equivalent of
were,
a filmography of a Clint Eastwood at that point. That's a
yeah,
lot of hours of television.
yep. And I think at the end of the first series, they were at about 200 episodes.
Right.
Man,
That's insane.
it is.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite episodes of the show. It really is. I know it disturbed my wife and all, but I think it's such a standout. It's an episode that, in fact, I was joking with Callie earlier about how old network TV, the rule was to never have the audience dependent on the other episodes. Everyone should be able to sit down and watch a TV show
Right.
without the baggage of what happened previously. And I guess you could say that here definitively, because it is just it's a X-Files chainsaw massacre sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get
Well,
thrown into it.
that's the cool part about this series was that my standout episodes each have drastically different feels to them,
Right.
and it's not like every gory one is my favorite because it's gory. It's sensational. I mean, the stuff that they did in, well, it was basically 11 or 12 years, um, is astronomical.
Yeah.
You want to talk about astronomical? Listen to the filmography, the TV work Manners did. He directed the original Charlie's Angels. He directed for that, Automan, Matt Houston, Simon and Simon, Street Hawk, Hardcastle and McCormick, Riptide, Sledgehammer, Hunter, Stingray, Sidekicks, Star Trek The Next Generation, Wise Guy, the Mission Impossible 80s version, Baywatch, funny enough, 21 Jump Street, just incredible amount of work that he did. And
Yep.
I think X-Files, I guess that was his peak of his work. That's wild.
Well, yeah, I mean, I am shocked that he didn't have a genre that he,
Stick
didn't
to,
fight
yeah.
to, yeah, didn't fight to get.
It's really eclectic.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't believe he didn't get picked up for feature work. That's shocking to me.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, so he stayed in TV.
Stayed in TV the entire time.
Oh.
He directed for The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. He did 7
yeah.
episodes.
That's with Bruce, isn't
Yep.
it? Bruce Campbell?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Such a
Absolutely.
great show.
And John Aston.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a great series. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
He directed the pilot for Harsh Realm, which was a really good but short-lived Chris Carter TV show.
Yeah.
So this particular episode, I know that you guys zone in on it because of the horror aspects of it, but the show overall, even though it did kind of take Monster of the Week and then sci-fi elements, would you consider this one to be the ultimate horror episode?
Yeah, I can't think of one that makes me feel more uncomfortable.
I think the only one that you could do that would be to say the Tombs episodes, Squeeze and
Yeah.
Tombs.
Yeah, two
Because
of them.
those have
Yeah.
a serial killer sort of vibe to them.
Yeah, Tombs, I agree.
But yeah,
Yep.
the rest were either shady horror or straight science fiction.
Okay. Yeah, this one definitely makes me feel uncomfortable. It still does. I have to say that I'm not happy about watching it the second time.
Even knowing what was going to happen.
Yeah, so when are you going to watch it again?
Nope. That's it for me, even though we own it now.
Taking a hard pass.
Yep. Actually, Ricky wanted to put it on earlier, and I was doing something at the kitchen table, and I was like, "Please, can you put on the Buffy episode?" Because I just watched it, so it feels too fresh.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, and Morgan and Wong also wrote some of my favorite episodes. They did Squeeze, they did Ice, which is the Great Thing kind of inspired episode.
Oh,
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Talented bunch.
Yes. When you can get your episode
Definitely.
banned essentially for however long. I guess that's talent.
Can you see that?
Oh,
You
absolutely.
walk into a writer's room to get a job. It's like, so what have you done? Well, I don't want to brag, but my X-Files episode banned.
Banned. 5 years and counting.
Well, we appreciate you want to write Goosebumps, but we think we're going to be a hard pass on you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Don't call us. We'll call you.
Yeah. Like I was story consultant on the episode, the Alf episode where Lucky dies.
Oh.
So the cat dies,
Yep.
and I love it. I wear it like a badge of honor.
Yes. Because it has such a prolific storyline at that point. You're like, oh crap.
Also had one of the best jokes, and I think that's fourth season. Yeah.
Fourth
So
season.
I mean, yeah, it was the last season of Alf.
Mm-hmm.
I keep thinking that the guys who wrote and worked on the Transformers animated movie, they're probably the same way. They're like, oh yeah, the Transformers movie I killed Prime. I killed a whole bunch
Yeah.
of people. I had kids
Yeah.
crying in the audience.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, they did. And confused parents. I thought this was a cartoon. There's so much death and destruction.
All right. Well, that was a blast. That was fun visiting that episode, and I'm sure we'll end up doing another X-Files episode. I know I want to do X-Files Fight the Future because I really love that movie.
If it were up to me, if we did another regular 47-minute episode,
Mm-hmm.
It's the one where it starts off with Mulder chasing that kid through the woods, and he stakes this kid. I mean, he stakes him, and as Scully shows up, the kid's fangs fall out of his mouth because they're plastic, and he says, "Oh," and it goes into goes right into the theme song, which opening credits.
That might have been a Darren Morgan episode, actually.
I think it was.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that one has something that they never ever did, to my knowledge, before, which was one of the charms of that episode are they take what Scully saw, and that's half the episode. They also take what Mulder saw, and that's half the episode.
Oh.
But they're not seamless. Like like he keeps saying that the sheriff in it is trying to pick up Scully, and Mulder is saying that he basically that he's a hick, and when you cut back, he's got those hick teeth.
Yeah.
And it's instead of the perfect smile that she sees him as, it's just
so his
really
point
good
of view
episode.
and his perspective versus hers.
Right. His point of view is the sheriff's a hick and probably stupid, and hers is that he's
fine,
gorgeous.
Yeah. I don't know which episode that is. I guess we'll have to research to find the name of it.
And
See, that was an interesting thing too, when you bring another Morgan into the fold, Darren Morgan, which was his brother, and he had his own style, because his went into where Glenn Morgan and James Wong would have little subtle humor. Darren Morgan would just go over the top. He's the one, sweetheart, who wrote the episode about the werewolf or the creature that gets bit by a man.
Yes, and now
he becomes a man.
Wereman.
That is such a great episode. That was probably one of my favorite episodes of the last 2 seasons that they did.
Yeah.
Okay. I dig it. All right. Well, Rich, do you have any last words that you have for this particular episode?
Yeah. If I never get the same thrill for an episode that I got from this, at least it happened once. Because this was as standalone as you can get.
Yeah. Definitely made you feel things.
Yep. So yeah, that's my feeling. Great standalone episode, the standalone episode.
Excellent. Thank you so much for watching this with us.
Oh, I had a ball.
And Ricky, do you have any last words for this?
The truth is out there. And it's a bunch of inbred people in a house. Run, run.
Oh, I'm running all right. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us and watching this commentary episode with us. And we'll catch you on the next round. Bye.